Yeah, when you're here, we're family. When you're here, we're family. Let's do this.
We're family.
Let's go, Garden!
Whether it's burgers, fried chicken, or sandwiches, there's a chain for everything, but some just might be a little overhyped. Well, here are the top 10 most overrated chain restaurants in America. Panera Bread.
They've got a Panera here?
There used to be a time when everybody was praising the freshness and deliciousness of Panera Bread, and the chain could do no wrong. You've probably been told more than once how the food is divine, the atmosphere is relaxing, and the service is simply top-notch. Well, we're here to destroy the illusion. It's not always the case. As a fast casual restaurant, Panera Bread is technically supposed to be a step up from fast food chains like McDonald's. But when it comes down to it, there aren't many differences. Yes, you get your food quickly, but at what price?
They took everything.
Not only do you get relatively small portions for the price, but most of the time the food's been pre-made and heated up in the microwave. Often described as cardboard on a plate, Panera's bland and dry food just isn't what it used to be. It's also been dubbed as one of the most overpriced quick-service chains in America, which, when you pay $10 for 3 scoops of mac and cheese and a teeny tiny salad, is kind of justifiable. A piece of advice: don't let yourself be fooled by those who swear it's the best restaurant out there, because it's really not. White Castle.
We are not ending this night without White Castle in our stomachs, agreed?
Agreed.
White Castle, an American treasure, a pioneer in the fast food industry, and seller of its products at grocery stores. While we owe a lot to White Castle for what it did for the fast food world in general, it's time to set the record straight. It's not all that. In fact, it's really nothing special at all. Let's look at their signature sliders, for example. You can get a bunch of them for pretty cheap when you visit the restaurant, and they taste pretty good. And that's perfect if you're looking for a quick meal to fill you up. Then you can get a bunch of them in your local grocery store's frozen section, and they also taste pretty good. The real issue is that they both taste exactly the same.
Who are you?
A good thing for the grocery store, but a horrible realization for the actual restaurant. Why would you bother going to White Castle if you can get the same quality from something you bought from the frozen food section? Since the chain has been around for ages, a lot of people have formed a kind of unbreakable bond with their sliders and will refuse to admit the undeniable: White Castle hasn't been able to keep up with the newer, fresher fast food chains. Despite all things pointing toward an imminent White Castle nosedive, it is still one of the most beloved fast food chains in America. All some people are saying is, maybe it shouldn't be. Chipotle.
Between good and garbage, it's Chipotle.
It's true that back in Chipotle's heyday, when it was the new kid on the block, it was revolutionary. The concept, the food, the novelty, everything was designed for this Mexican-inspired chain to soar. And for a while, it did just that. Only now, it seems like Chipotle might have run out of pixie dust and is running on fumes. No longer the next big thing, it might be time for the chain to reinvent itself and try something new. But it doesn't seem like it's going to do so anytime soon. When you go to Chipotle, you do get great flavors and quality, depending on the location, of course.
I'm very lucky.
But the same pretty much applies when you go to other similar Mexican fast food joints. Take the Qdoba restaurant chain, for instance. It does everything Chipotle does, and even more, and arguably better. It has all of the basic fresh ingredients like rice, beans, meats, and cheeses, but it also has several varieties of sauces and peppers you can add to your burrito, quesadilla, or even nachos. In comparison, it makes Chipotle look extremely bland and pretty boring. Another thing Qdoba does better? You don't have to pay for extra guac. Chipotle, take note. Panda Express.
Sorry, Panda Express is closed. We closed.
Getting Chinese food takeout when you're too lazy or tired to cook is one of the most convenient and delicious pleasures in life. With so many Chinese restaurants available, depending on the area you live in, you have plenty of choice. So with that in mind, why the heck would you ever choose Panda Express over a real, authentic Chinese restaurant? While it's a pretty popular choice, it's a little unclear why. More often than not, the meals are mushy, dull, and way too expensive, at least according to many angry Redditors. Despite its reputation, the chain has still managed to open over 2,200 restaurants all over the world, even in Asia.
Impressive.
In Panda Express's defense, it has often been argued that it serves Chinese food that better suits the American palate. But still, next time you're thinking about stopping by Panda Express, ask yourself this: is this your best option to satisfy your Chinese food craving, or can you keep driving and find something better? Chances are your local takeout place will have cheaper, more flavorful food and will be made to order instead of sitting in a warmer for hours. Oh, and it will probably be a little healthier too. Stir-fried candy? No thank you. In-N-Out Burger.
Your favorite In-N-Out burger out of the wrapper on a plate.
In-N-Out is one of those burger chains that have one of the biggest followings. Seriously, it's almost like it's become some kind of cult at this point. And don't get us wrong, a burger at In-N-Out is very tasty, but is it really worth all the hype? For some, it sure is. For some, it's the best thing that could ever happen to your taste buds, and it will simply change your life. For others, though, it's just a burger. They don't see what the fuss is all about because, well, it is just another hamburger. It's happened countless times to so many people. They hear about In-N-Out, they let themselves be completely transported into the fantasy and build up unrealistic expectations in their heads, and when they finally get to try it, it's meh, so-so.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
Long lines and, in some cases, long travel for a burger seems a little extreme, but there's a rather logical explanation behind it. It's all about exclusivity and limited availability. Since only people on the West Coast get to experience In-N-Out, it creates something somewhat unreachable. It almost immediately becomes exclusive, even if the food is not that great to begin with. Plus, the whole thing about the secret menu is also overdone. If there's a right way to order your food, it's a good indication that it might be overrated. Subway.
It wasn't just Subway sandwiches that made me thin.
This one you've probably seen coming from a mile away. Subway just isn't the best option for a tasty sub anymore, and not a lot of people can argue about that. Formerly the largest fast food chain in the world, in the last few years, Subway has definitely lost some of its appeal. Before, it was known as the healthy fast food restaurant. You know, the place you could eat at and still feel good about yourself because it was all made with fresh ingredients and had plenty of veggies. It had so many successful campaigns, like the now famous $5 footlong, and just kept on expanding every single day. Subway really had it all. But that was until the truth about its supposed health benefits came out and no one wanted to eat there anymore. And for good reason, too.
Told ya.
If you compare Subway with other sandwich chains like Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, and Penn Station, it simply can't hold its own. Not only is the quality and freshness of the toppings better anywhere else, but it's usually much cheaper, too. But cheap prices aren't the only thing Subway is missing. The so-called healthy menu the chain claimed to offer isn't actually all that healthy. In fact, it might be one of the worst fast food options on the market. Artificial preservatives, calories, and high sodium levels are what's waiting for you at Subway. Arby's.
Show 'em what we did to Arby's.
When it comes to fast food chains, they are usually pretty much all the same. A menu of burgers, fries, and soda. While the recipes change from one place to another, there aren't that many menu variations. This is where Arby's comes into play in hopes of saving the world from drowning in a sea of burgers. At least that's what it was supposed to do. Priding itself on its signature roast beef sandwiches, Arby's really stands out from the crowd. But it's not always in a good way. Since the special meat has a distinctive taste and texture, it's mostly a sink-or-swim type of deal for most people. You either love it or you can't stand the thing.
You gotta try!
Over the years, there have been countless stories and myths surrounding the meat and how it's really prepared, which didn't help the chain when it comes to image. From liquid meat to meat-shaped lumps made from gels, Arby's has seen it all. Yes, those ended up getting debunked, but still, not off to a great start. The main complaint frequently brought up about Arby's, however, the fact that it's so underwhelming. It's not that it's bad per se, it's just not as good as it could be. Often described as tasteless, dry, and disappointing, the sandwiches are not always worth it. Five Guys.
That was Five Guys, Peter.
Five Guys are known for their giant, juicy, customizable burgers, their French fries cooked in peanut oil, and of course, their baskets of peanuts to munch on while you wait for your food. Ever since the 1980s, Five Guys has been an absolute favorite among burger lovers and has gathered quite the following over the years. With that being said, it might have received a lot more praise than it actually deserved. Again, we're not saying that Five Guys isn't good, because clearly it's done something right, but only that maybe the hype, long lines, and long wait times is a little much, especially for what you're really getting.
You deserve more.
People online have a lot to say about the quality of the meals they get at Five Guys, and it's not always the best. Some say the patties are always burned and dry, while others say they're always too greasy and runny, which makes for a messy meal. And when it's not about the quality of the food, it's about the time it takes to get it. Most of the time, since the restaurants are usually quite busy, getting your burger can take a while, and it's not everyone who's willing to wait that long for a mere burger. Some don't even qualify Five Guys as a fast food restaurant anymore. Basically, it's overrated in the sense that no one should have to wait that long for a single burger that may or may not taste the way you want it. It's a gamble that's up to you. Olive Garden.
Not going to the Olive Garden, Mom!
There was a time when the Olive Garden was synonymous with fancy, authentic, and high-class Italian food. It used to be seen as the pinnacle of Italian cuisine, the ultimate destination for a quality, elegant night. How far have we strayed from that image, huh? Today, a lot of people still see Olive Garden that way, but a lot of people have also opened their eyes and realized that this chain restaurant is about as far from an authentic Italian restaurant as it possibly could be. Not only does the chain serve things that have absolutely nothing to do with Italian food, like Spanish tapas, fried foods, and soggy pasta, but the prices have drastically increased as the years have gone by.
It's too expensive.
Bland flavors, weird meal combinations, and overall a very disappointing experience is most likely what awaits you if you visit the restaurant. The only truly good thing at Olive Garden is the free breadsticks, but even those can't save an entire restaurant. Another thing the chain has to get better at, it's customer service. Apparently, in some locations, people don't exactly receive the best of service. If you truly want tasty Italian food, there's no point in going to an Olive Garden. Just go to one of the thousands of true Italian restaurants in America, and we'll guarantee you'll be much happier. KFC.
Don't you see? The KFC was keeping people healthy!
KFC used to reign over the fried chicken industry with its top secret blend of herbs and spices and iconic red and white striped bucket. Without any real competitors for a very long time, KFC seemed to put the business on cruise control. However, nowadays, it's not the only player in the game. Even though KFC was once the #1 spot for fried chicken, as more chains began popping up and spreading all across the world, it slowly but surely lost its appeal and didn't try very hard to get it back.
I don't care.
Giants like Popeyes and Chick-fil-A have been running the show for quite some time now and have been adapting to a new clientele, unlike KFC. Sure, the prices are pretty decent, especially considering how filling the meals are, but it doesn't make them any better in terms of quality. It's simply not the best option around anymore. Maybe if the chain went back to basics and improved the quality of everything from the chicken to the sides, it would have a chance at getting back on top of its game. But so far, it looks like it just keeps on sinking lower and lower. Jump into another great video. Just tap or click. Then leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.